All right. You can put in here. Okay, so thinking about God, need to talk about it out loud. So I'm going to do that. Might delete this video later or put it in private mode. Don't know. Whatever. Okay, so I was listening to this conversation between this pastor, an atheist, and this guy's friend that brought the pastor. We're going to confront him about God and get to the bottom of why he really, what's his problem? His problem is that, and I was reading through the comments, the atheist problem is that they don't know what God really is. They reject the fake God. They reject what they think God is. And that's the problem of the atheists is they're rejecting, a God that's not really God. They're not rejecting my God. They're rejecting a different idea of what they think God is. And I said to that comment, I said, how do you know what God is? Because you think you know what God is, don't you? And I thought about, you wouldn't care if I dismantled bit by bit, piece by piece, Brahma, Shiva the Destroyer, Zeus, Hercules, Allah. You only care about Yahweh if you're a Christian. Whatever religion you are, you only care about that God or gods. The other gods, well, you don't care about those. And give them a first or second thought, most likely. Who cares if they don't exist? The only one that matters is the one you believe in. That's the one that matters. That's the only one that matters. Now, when I talk to these people that believe in particular gods, usually it's Christians, not always, but almost a lot of times. And, you hear things like there was one Christian was like, oh, why are you guys always attacking the Christians? Attack some other stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm happy to attack whatever else if it comes my way. And you're just tired of me going after your God. Go after some other God. Leave my belief alone. I like what I believe. I like it. Because I believe it. Because it feels good. Because I'm used to it. And it scares me to think about not having it. It scares you to think about not believing the thing that you believe in. You're very used to believing that. So when somebody dares to challenge that, you go into defensive and attack mode. You defend, you attack, you try to find it. Well, here's why the person really thinks this way. I'm going to psychoanalyze them. I'm going to try to figure out what's underneath there. Why are they so bitter and jaded and what went wrong in their life? And maybe some priest touched them and that's why they don't believe in God. And And if you would just step back a bit, believer, from your God for a moment and examine the fact that, all the religions deliver their message about God in pretty much the same way. Some person or group says that they heard from God or just says stuff about God. Some other person or group writes down that stuff. And then that's it. And then it's just passed on to the next generation as a story. You're told to believe it. Everyone believes it. So no one questions it. And if somebody does question it, well, maybe you kill that person, or you exile them, or you shun them, or you make fun of them because how silly is it that they don't believe in the thing that everyone else believes in? How dare you not believe in Shiva the Destroyer? Who else would destroy things? That's just silly. You silly non-believer. Across the world, every God concept that humans have had has come about by somebody saying that they know what the bleep God is like. God revealed itself to them. They know an angel revealed itself to them. They just know. How do they know? The guy went up onto a mountain and came back and he said, "Hey, God talked to me." Really? Where is he? He's up on that mountain. I want to go talk to him. He can't. Why not? Because you're not allowed up that mountain. You go sneak up on that mountain when nobody is watching. You don't find God. Look, I say the guy, "Hey, look, I went up there. I didn't see God." Well, he moved. Oh, okay, yeah. How about bull? You didn't talk to God. You believe that, but it's not true. It's not really true. It is a belief that you have. And God, in many of these writings, not all of them, but many of them, talks to its people like a lot. He shows them miracles here and there. And it's like it seems like it's always happening. Well, no, it's actually rare, but and it's like, okay, well, why isn't God doing that now? Well, the religion has all sorts of answers for those pesky questions, those critical questions that we have. Why in the world would God select a piece of earth to reveal itself to and only reveal itself to that tiny, tiny place and nowhere else? In a tiny time frame of why? Why wouldn't it just be revealed at all times, everywhere, accessible to all indefinitely? Well, religion has answers to that. Different religions have different answers. But the only answer that matters to the believer is their answer. They don't care about the apologetics from the Muslim or the Hindu or whatever. They care about their religion, whatever that one is. And again, I'm used to Christianity, so I refer to that one mostly. And it's not that I don't believe in your God because I have the wrong version of your God. It's that there's no evidence for any version of any God at all, not even a little. Period. Give me the evidence. You don't have it. You're not going to give me the empirical evidence. You don't have it. You're not going to give me a repeatable test. You don't have it. And I absolutely am pretty darn sure, and I'm willing to bet, you don't have a valid and sound argument either. And you're going to give me one that I've heard or read a zillion times. And I'm going to stop you the moment you start and tell you the fallacies that it commits, and then you're going to refuse to acknowledge that those are fallacies and try to find some way to wrangle around. You're going to find some way to try to declare victory, or if all else fails, you're going to appeal to fear and try to scare me and say, well, you'll be sorry when you're dead, then you'll be judged. Ooh, scary. No, any God that has to appeal to that sort of threat is not a logical God. Thus, I couldn't trust that God, even if it did exist, which I still don't have any evidence for. But it negates plenty of gods. Because if your God is one that's supposed to be logically coherent, well, then it can't make illogical statements, can it? But it does. So therefore, it's not a logical being, which means it doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. It's not there. It's not real. It's not true. There has to be something. We don't understand things. Yes, I know we don't understand things. I know that. But the worst thing that we could do is just make up an answer and then pretend that answer is the answer. That's like the worst thing we could do. And that's what we did. We humans did that. We've done that. And we keep doing it. We do it for so many things. Vote. That's gonna, let's voting. Oh, yeah, vote. That's gonna change things. Is it? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. So few people vote. Well, yeah. Because you don't see you don't, it's just, who are you supposed to vote for? How do you don't know. You don't even know where to start. And it gets into this group mentality. They're wrong. These people are wrong. Everyone's wrong except, not me, though. I'm right. The other side's wrong. It's their fault. It's always their fault. It's never my fault. Sure, I'm in charge. My side's completely in charge. And I look at the places where my side's in charge and I see that those places are pretty bad. But the reason they're bad is because of the other side. It's not because of our side. Can't be our team. It's got to be their team. They're the ones at fault, not our side, not me. No. And it's like that with God. Can't be my God that's wrong or not true. It's got to be these other gods. Those are the ones. The God that you think exists. That's the problem. Is you're just hate filled. Somebody told me that in a comment. Yeah, you're just hate filled. I was like, really? I am? Well, please tell me more about myself. Can you also read my mind? You can know what my emotions are. It's amazing. And this other nitwit, I was like, I'm not going to use the word belief. I'm going to use the word accept. I accept the data and the facts. Oh, do you believe that? I'm like, I told you I'm not going to use that word in this context. Oh, you believe that? And they kept going. I'm like, whatever. It's no point. You want what? What are you trying to win? You're fighting a non-battle at that point. Because you want some victory, and you can't get the victory when it comes to proving your beliefs. So you're going to go after a little thing. I don't want to use that word. I have a very specific reason why I'm not going to use that word right now. Maybe I'll use it some other place, but right now I'm not going to. Why? Because you've conflated that word to mean different things at different times and you treat it differently. And so I'm not going to play that game. And I'm not going to play that guy's game. I'm not going to play your game. You're going to play by my rules. What are my rules? Logic. Okay, well, that doesn't work. You need to understand this and that and the other thing. Well, maybe. I don't know. But I know that you do not have the thing that will change my mind. You don't. If you did, you could change the mind of everybody. Of course, we have to step back and say, okay, fine, you pesky atheist, you pesky skeptic. All right, look. If God was as obvious as the moon at night when it's full on a clear day, or a clear night rather, clear day, yeah, clear night. If that's what God was, and everybody could see it all the time, and everybody could talk to it all the time and stuff, and would you doubt then? No. But would there be doubters? Probably. If humans were the same in that universe as they are here, yeah. There'd probably be people that thought it was some government conspiracy or aliens or some other god testing them or goodness knows what else. There'd be all sorts of people like that, but they'd be in the fringe. Their arguments would suck. Their ideas wouldn't hold up to scrutiny. They'd be like the flat earthers. They'd be like those who deny biological evolution. They'd be like those who don't understand that the scientific explanation of things has nothing to do with atheism. And I got to comment on that. This guy's like, oh, you guys believe in evolution and the Big Bang. None of that's proven. I'm like, one, yes, those things are proven. And two, that's science. And has nothing to do with atheism. How reality really works is how it works. And some people are so twisted because their religion twisted them. They're so twisted they can't see that. And then a YouTuber that I know had made a video about the dog delusion. Thought it was good. And this idea was very powerful that if there's this God that can manipulate things and change things and willy-nilly, but there's also the fact that people can hallucinate. Well, wait a minute, though. If you're a person hallucinating, how do you know that's a hallucination and not God? Uh-oh. Because God could do the thing. Like, you think that you see, I don't know, a floating wolf that's talking to you. And it's glowing green and blue and it's spinning around counterclockwise and inverted, and it turns inside out, and then it becomes a squirrel, and it's talking to you and telling you whatever, and you're like, whoa, what did I take? Wait a minute, this might be God talking to me, because it might be God. Now, how do I know if I'm crazy or have lost my mind temporarily, at any rate, on some sort of psychedelics or, something, I injured my head or whatever? How do I know that is not the case, or if it's actually God? There's no way to tell the difference. And that means that all of the phenomenon of insanity that we classify could be chalked up to God messing around, or the angels doing something, or the demons or devils doing weird stuff. And then it's like, well, anything goes. Anything and everything goes. It's not there that there's something wrong in your brain. It's that there's a spiritual battle going on. Well, you don't know that, but that's an answer that explains things, supposedly. So if there's a God, then all bets are off. Reality becomes unhinged because magic is now possible. And once magic is possible, all bets are off. I was like, well, you don't know. I mean, maybe God will, turn the computer into a boomerang. Why not? And then turn it back into a computer. And you're like, what was that about? Well, I guess it was a boomerang, so it came back to being a computer. Okay, that's great. Could you give me an upgrade while you're at it? If you're going to change my computer, could you change it into a better computer instead of a boomerang? Leave it be a better computer? Keep my stuff on it just the way I like it, but upgrade my memory and graphics. And no, okay, yeah, okay. But God doesn't do anything that can be observed by multiple sources simultaneously in any controlled conditions. No, God refuses to be testable. That's amazing. You can't test it. There's not a thing that you can test about it. They've done prayer studies, failed. The result, exactly what we would expect from chance. That's it. And in one study, the people fared worse because, they actually underperformed. So, well, God's only answering prayers when nobody is watching. We have yet to see a limb regrow. We've been asking about that for a while. Why doesn't God heal amputees? Because just reasons. Just all it is. That's what it does. Or scars. I asked that question to somebody a long time ago. It's like, why doesn't God heal scars? They said, well, scars are special. How about teeth? Regrow teeth. Fix the teeth. What about that? Why doesn't God do that? Well, God's got some reason. Ooh, okay. Yeah. Like what? It's a mystery. They're okay with that mystery, but they're not okay with the mystery of reality as we understand it without adding more to that. They need that God. Why? Well, I don't know. They came to believe in it for different reasons. It just seems like it should be that. It doesn't seem. I need it to be more than it is. Like it is whatever it is. It's like you study it, and it will tell you what you need to know about it. And if there's a God, then well, that's something that you would think that you would discover along the way. And I remember some scientist was walking along or whatever, and they saw this waterfall, and they're like, oh, the Trinity is real. Oh. It was like, yeah, that wasn't scientific. They just were struck by the idea one day. That's not scientific. Oh, everything has to be science to be proven. Well, I don't know. You have a different way to prove that something is without evidence, without a test, without what? What you got? What do you have? You have faith. I only need facts. I don't need faith. Thanks for listening.